Hi, everybody. Today we're going to the airport together. Welcome to my channel, English with Maria. I'm excited to share with you my easy holiday English course. I've put together 6 videos for you. 3 focused on listening practice and 3 on speaking practice. We'll be covering some really practical topics that you'll definitely need when traveling. What to do at the airport, how to handle your hotel stay, and tips for exploring a new city. But wait, before we start, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so you won't miss any new content. In this first video, I'm going to teach you some essential vocabulary you'll need, like luggage, departure, and seatbelt. We'll also practice some really useful phrases that you can use right away, such as, "I'd like to check in, please," and "Where's the gate number?" I've organized the video into 3 main sections to make it easy to follow along. First, before arriving at the airport, we'll cover what you need to know before you even get to the airport. Then, at the airport, we'll walk through what happens once you're there. Finally, on the plane, we'll talk about what to expect when you're actually on the plane. After each section, I've included a quick checkpoint so you can test yourself and make sure you're understanding everything. Here's a tip. Here's my recommendation for getting the most out of this video. Watch it twice. The first time, go ahead and use the subtitles. Then watch it again without subtitles to really challenge yourself. So, are you ready to improve your English and feel more confident when traveling? Let's go. Chapter 1. Before arriving at the airport. My name is Maria, and today I'm going to tell you about my trip to London. Let me start from the very beginning, before I even left my house. Yesterday morning, I woke up early because my flight was at 2 p.m. The first thing I did was to check my documents. I put my passport in my handbag. This is very important. You can't travel without your passport. I also printed my boarding pass at home. A boarding pass is a ticket to get on the plane. Next, I packed my suitcase. I put my clothes, my shoes, and my toiletries inside. Toiletries are things like toothbrush, shampoo, and soap. I was careful not to pack too many things because airlines have weight limits. My suitcase weighed 20 kilograms. That's perfect. I also prepared my carry-on bag. This is a small bag you can take with you on the plane. I put my laptop, my phone charger, a book, and some snacks inside. Remember, You cannot bring liquids bigger than 100 ml in your carry-on bag. Before leaving home, I called a taxi. The taxi driver was very friendly. He asked me, "Which terminal do you need?" My airline uses Terminal 2, so I told him, "Terminal 2, please." The journey to the airport took 45 minutes because there was some traffic. During the taxi ride, I felt a little nervous, but also excited. This was my first time flying alone to London. Checkpoint 1. Answer these questions. What did I put in my handbag? My boarding pass or my passport? My passport. How long did the taxi ride take? 30 minutes or 45 minutes? 45 minutes. Chapter 2. At the airport. When I arrived at the airport, it was very busy. There were many people with suitcases walking everywhere. The first place I went was the check-in counter. Even though I had my boarding pass, I needed to drop off my big suitcase. The lady at the check-in counter was very helpful. She said, "Good morning. Can I see your passport and your boarding pass, please?" I gave her my documents. She weighed my suitcase and gave me a baggage tag. She also asked me, "Would you like a window seat or an aisle seat?" I chose a window seat because I love looking at the clouds. After check-in, I went to the security checkpoint. This part always makes me nervous. I had to put my carry-on bag and my shoes in plastic boxes. Then I walked through a metal detector. The security officer was very polite and said, "Have a nice flight." Next, I looked for my departure gate. The airport has many gates. Mine was B12. I looked at the big screens that showed flight information. My flight was on time. That means it wasn't delayed. I had some time before boarding, so I went shopping. I bought some souvenirs for my family and a bottle of water for the flight. Then I sat in the waiting area near my gate. I could see my plane through the big window. It was a Boeing 737 and it looked very big. At 1:30 p.m., I heard an announcement. Flight BA205 to London is now boarding. Please have your boarding pass and passport ready. That was my flight. I joined the queue with other passengers. The gate agent checked my boarding pass and said, "Enjoy your flight to London." Checkpoint 2. Answer these questions. What type of seat did I choose? A window seat? or an aisle seat? A window seat. What was my gate number? B21 or B12? B12. Chapter 3, on the plane. Walking onto the plane was exciting. A flight attendant greeted me at the door and said, "Welcome aboard." She helped me find my seat. My seat number was 15A. That's row 15, seat A by the window. I put my carry-on bag in the overhead compartment above my seat. Then I sat down and fastened my seatbelt. The seat was comfortable and I had a great view outside the window. While waiting for the takeoff, I listened to the safety demonstration. The flight attendants showed us how to use the life jacket and the oxygen masks. They also explained where the emergency exits are located. This information is very important for passengers' safety. The captain made an announcement. "Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Captain Johnson speaking. Welcome aboard flight BA205 to London. Our flight time today will be approximately 2 hours and 30 minutes. The weather in London is also cloudy with a temperature of 15 degrees Celsius." Soon the plane started moving slowly on the runway. Then we began to accelerate, and suddenly we were in the air. Taking off is always an amazing feeling. I looked out the window and saw the city getting smaller and smaller below us. During the flight attendants served drinks and snacks. I asked for an orange juice and some peanuts. The flight attendant was very friendly and said, "Here you are. Is this your first time flying to London?" We had a nice short conversation. The flight was smooth with no turbulence. I read my book, listened to music, and took some photos of the clouds outside. Time passed quickly. About 30 minutes before landing, the captain announced, "Ladies and gentlemen, we are beginning our descent into London. Please return to your seat and fasten your seatbelts." I could feel the plane going down slowly. When we landed, everyone clapped. The flight attendant said, "Thank you for flying with us today. Please remain seated until the aircraft comes to a complete stop." Finally, we arrived in London. Checkpoint 3. What was my seat number? 15A or 15B? How long was the flight to London? 2 hours or 2 hours and 30 minutes? It was 2 hours and 30 minutes. Congratulations. You have completed this listening exercise about traveling by plane. Let's review the most important vocabulary and phrases. We learned about documents such as passport, boarding pass, baggage tag. Also, some airport areas such as terminal, check-in counter, security checkpoint, departure gate, and runway. Some luggage vocabulary like suitcase, carry-on bag, overhead compartment. Plane parts like seat belt, window seat, aisle seat, emergency exit. We also learned some vocabulary concerning important people like taxi driver, check-in agent, security officer, gate agent, flight attendant, and captain. Finally, we learned some useful travel phrases such as, I'd like to check in, please. Can I see your passport or boarding pass? Would you like a window seat or an aisle seat? Please fasten your seatbelts. Welcome aboard. Have a nice flight. Thank you for flying with us. Remember these words and phrases. They will help you a lot when you travel by plane. Practice using them, and soon you'll feel confident at any airport. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and turn on the notifications so you never miss a lesson. See you next time. Bye-bye.